Well, hello there, beautiful. Welcome to 2026. This is the first video I'm making on my new phone. So if you know how my other lives looked, let me know if the quality is different. I'm very curious. That's why I got this phone. So hoping that the quality is better. It does look like that to me. So I am slowly emerging from this beautiful, timeless time between the years where I had very little structure and just allowed myself to feel the timelessness, not know which day it is, not know what time of the day it is, and thoroughly enjoyed it. And today's the first day that I've given myself a bit more structure again. And I notice how I so love it. I so love giving myself more structure during the day. I immediately notice having more energy and more ideas flowing. So, happy to be back here and happy to be back online. And in this live, I want to talk about something potentially edgy, which is how we can misunderstand authenticity and how it can lead to holding you back from creating what you truly want and showing up in your full power. So, I'm someone who spends a lot of time in somatically oriented communities and communities where people value vulnerability and authenticity very much. I have a lot of people with therapeutic backgrounds that I spend time with and that I so appreciate. And I myself, I've trained in various therapeutic modalities. I studied psychology, and we can say that learning to speak from the places inside of us that we've learned to hide because maybe they're not as pretty as we would like them to be, or like places like our contractions or our fears, our worries, and so on, that can be a very empowering step from not sharing it at all and pretending it's not there. However, there is only a certain point this can get you to, and this is a shadow, we can say, in certain communities that I see that holds people who are very attuned to themselves, which holds them back from stepping much more into their power of showing up to the world, operating from their highest vision, and projecting into the world what they want to create more of. And the misunderstanding is this: sharing what does not yet feel healed or whole or beautiful within me can, in certain moments, be something empowering if it helps me create space from it. So let's say I'm in a group of people and maybe there's some sort of little check-in that's happening, or it's not happening. I'm just sharing and I'm saying, oh, I'm noticing I don't feel fully welcome here, and I'm telling myself that I don't really belong, and like I just kind of like want to get away from here. If in that moment it helps me to be fully here and to notice, oh, that's just a story I'm telling myself, well, then it can be very empowering, because suddenly it has less force inside of me, like less weight, because I named that story, I have more distance to it. However, I personally, and a lot of people that I see in these communities, I have used this as a pattern, and sharing my vulnerability has become my safe thing to go to. And it became easier for me to speak to the places inside of me that did not feel fully confident and safe and amazing and alive. It felt safer to voice the parts of me or the sides of me that did not feel fully welcome, present, whatever. And in that sense, it can become a pattern where we feel more comfortable sharing our vulnerability, sharing the sides of us that are maybe not the way we would like them to be. And it can be harder and it can be more edgy to say, I feel fucking amazing. I feel so great right now. And the thing that I think is so helpful to understand is when I share my experience, I'm not just observing it, I am giving it energy. So when I speak to all the things that are not yet the way that I would like them to be, I'm giving that energy, I'm making that grow, I'm giving that more space. And when I speak to when I speak into existence, the things that I want more of, well, I'm giving energy to that. And so if, like me, you know that sometimes you can fall into the pattern of, oh, it feels kind of easier and safer, like almost like there's like a shared unwritten rule that it's somehow more welcome to share our vulnerabilities and the things we struggle with rather than sharing, I feel amazing. I'm so happy to be here. And I'm not saying that as like I'm faking it. I'm saying I'm consciously making a choice inside of myself to focus on that side of me. And again, there might be certain moments where it does feel empowering and liberating to name an experience that feels uncomfortable, that feels challenging, or to name a story that's going on in my mind. But it's helpful to understand that what I focus on does get bigger. So I want to be very clear on when I do that with the intention to name it so that I can get more space from it, so that I can see it more clearly, so that then I can let go of it. So it's not part of my identity to constantly be sharing the things that I'm struggling with, because I certainly did that for a long time in my life. And that's not empowering, because what you speak to and of consistently, you will make it grow. So make it a practice that when you're being asked, how are you, to see, what do I want in myself to grow? And again, I'm not saying fake it. I'm not saying pretend you're doing amazing when you're not. But speak to the sides in you where something feels really good. Or find a way to frame your experience as like, oh, well, I feel kind of excited to be here. And it feels a bit edgy, and I'm curious to get to know people, rather than like, oh, I feel fear and I don't know if I belong. So what I want to say with this live is we can be so much more creative and proactive in framing our experience and focusing on the parts of our experience that we want more of. And speaking of our vulnerabilities and challenges, while in certain moments it can be empowering, it can also just become a pattern that feels safer than to speak of the things that are really good and full and alive inside of me. And the more that you practice that, the more you will feed those sides. And where I think people misunderstand this, what I'm sharing here, is, for me, this is not about like rejecting the uncomfortable experiences. It's not about saying it's wrong that I feel this discomfort. It's wrong that there's a part in my body that feels contracted and I don't want it. The base is always, I love and appreciate everything that arises inside of me. It's all welcome. But that does not mean that I always make it the forefront focus of my attention, the parts, the sides that do not feel complete yet. And they can still be there, and I can still feel them, but I can at the same time focus my attention more on what I want more of, what I actually want to feel. And we know, if you have looked, like, even for a tiny moment, into psychology, you know the negativity bias. You know that our brain is much more focused on the negative as a survival pattern. So we need to actually proactively do something against that to counterbalance it, and to be like, okay, well, here's my brain focusing on all the things that are not yet good. Let me make a conscious effort to feel all the things inside of me that are perfect right now. And with that, you're going to strengthen that capacity inside of you. If this resonates with you, if you feel like, oh, I think there's something to that, I have an invitation to you. I'm going to be hosting a masterclass. It's going to be a paid masterclass called Highest Vision. It's going to be happening in about 2 weeks. And what I'm going to share there with you is what has enabled me to massively level up how I show up in my business, the kind of income I make, from making somewhere between 3,000 to 5,000 euros to making about 25,000 euros in December. But that's just the result of something that shifted inside of me that is very much related to what I was just sharing with you in this live, meaning I show up from my highest vision. I show up from the most complete, expanded, powerful version within me, and not focusing constantly on all the places that are not yet healed. And that has made the biggest fucking difference in the last few months in my life and in my business. So if this speaks to you, if you feel like, ooh, I want to embody more of my highest vision and show up from it until reality catches up and it actually becomes like materially true, then drop the word vision in the comments. And I have not even created the sales page for this masterclass. So once it's ready, I'm going to send it to you. You're going to be among the first ones. And yeah, here's to 2026 being a year of expansion, being a year of you showing up in your essence and in your power, and you stepping more into what you came here for. And my guess is that you did not come here to primarily speak of all the places inside of you that are not yet healed. It might be part of your journey. Probably is not the full focus you want to be on, okay? So with that, I'm sending you much love. Going to the sauna now with my beloved. If you want the details for the Highest Vision Masterclass, drop the word vision in the comments. If you enjoyed this, let me know in the comments. Let me know if the quality of this live is better. I'm very curious. And I'll talk to you soon.